Namaskar. In the series of lectures organized by Embassy of India, India-Ireland Friendship Lecture Series, today we are delighted to welcome Mrs. Rita P. Hemrajani to share her thoughts on the topic, Diverse Handloom Heritage of India. Mrs. Hemrajani is an IRPS officer of 1990 batch and is currently working as Managing Director of National Handloom Development Corporation Limited, which is a public sector undertaking under the Ministry of Textiles of the Indian government. She carries with her vast experience of more than 3 decades as she held various key positions in human resources and administration in different zones of railways like Northeastern Railway, Western Railway, and Central Railway. She was HR head of second largest division in Indian Railways with approximate 35,000 employees. She has worked in labor-intensive workshops, field offices, handled policy issues in headquarters, and also dealt IT and administration. As Director Administration in Films Division, she conducted 2 international films festivals and undertook infrastructure upgradation work, including setting up of National Museum of Indian Cinema. Under her guidance, National Handloom Development Corporation, with offices across states, ensures quality yarn supply to the weavers at reasonable rates. It also provides marketing assistance to the weavers through product development and handloom exhibitions across different cities. The latest exhibition, Virasat, at Handloom Haat, Janpat, New Delhi, showcasing the heritage of handloom saris, received encouraging response from all quarters. We are privileged to have her with us, and before she enriches us by sharing her experience, I invite His Excellency, the Ambassador of India, to say a few words on today's topic.
Namaskar, my very warm greetings to all from Dublin, Ireland. Thank you, Hemaji, for organizing this, and we are grateful to Rita ji for accepting our kind invitation. It was a great privilege for me to meet her and have a brief exchange of views during her very short visit to Dublin some time ago. And as we discuss, Ireland and India relations are full of tremendous potential for upgradation and diversification. Unfortunately, the awareness about Ireland and India is quite limited. And I think it's important for audience in India to think about Ireland from a fresh perspective. Ireland has evolved into a very interesting, very unique ecosystem. In terms of population, it's merely 5 million people, but it's about $500 billion economy. And also it has a second highest income, per capita income in Europe. And also it's very conducive and attractive investment policies and investment regime has enabled Ireland to attract top companies. Top 9 out of 10 ICT companies are based here. Top 9 out of 10 pharmaceutical companies are based here. Top medtech companies are based here. Ireland is a very prominent hub for fintech and financial services. About half of the global financial leasing for aircraft leasing is handled from Ireland. Also, Ireland has an extremely vibrant and extremely successful startup ecosystem and a very fascinating network of very innovative institutions of higher learning and tertiary education in technical and professional areas. Also, Ireland has in the entire European Union highest university enrollment, more than 60%. So Ireland's economy today is not what it used to be in the 50s and 60s and 70s. It's very differently poised. And Ireland is probably the only country which maintained positive growth rate even during the devastating corona pandemic. And this year, Ireland's manufactured goods exports are expected to cross over 200 billion euros. And imports of manufactured goods is expected to cross about 150 billion euros, registering more than double-digit growth. So there is need for both our countries and entrepreneurs to have a more focused engagement, B2B conversation and dialogue, so that there is a greater understanding on both sides about the opportunities emerging out of very fast growing economies in Ireland. And India naturally is one of the biggest economies, the third largest economy in terms of purchasing power parity, the fastest growing economy in G20. So there are synergies to be leveraged. And in the handloom sector itself, India is very privileged to have an extremely diverse, extremely rich heritage. And the concept of one district, one product has given a new thrust, new vision, new vigor to development of handloom sector as well. So at this point, I'm very happy to have the conversation with Rita ji to explore new opportunities. Ireland can become a very interesting launchpad and connect, link in two areas. One is Ireland can become a kind of knowledge partner in innovative product development. And Ireland's unique experience of a UK market and European Union market, as well as the transatlantic societies in US and Canada. So in terms of knowledge sharing in developing new products which meet global benchmarking to the test, to the trends in developed countries, Ireland could be a very, very significant partner for us, our companies. Secondly, Ireland, $500 billion economy, although population is small, 5 million, but there is a significant niche for our companies to be explored. And niche, I would suggest, is to go for the highest end, even if number may be small, but high-end products, if we can get a foothold in Ireland and get connected with Ireland, and that will help us a broader engagement, broader like reaching out to European as well as transatlantic markets. Ireland could be a very significant staging ground for us. With these words, I would like to thank Rita ji again for so kindly accepting our invitation. I know in Delhi you are so busy, so I really appreciate your sparing time to share your wisdom, your ideas, your thoughts with us. And this, I believe, would be a beginning of a fresh linkage and fresh partnership between our embassy and your institution. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we today talk about the handloom journey and how it is reviving again. And a little background about me. I joined this organization as managing director last year, January. I completed almost 1 year now. And it has been a very interesting journey so far. And after I joined, I really was amazed at the kind of handloom varieties that we have and the vast sector that it is. That I did not realize we have such a huge resource, which is our heritage. Mm-hmm. So in my presentation, I have highlighted what all this sector has. And it is geographically so spread out that almost every state has a specific variety of handloom that is native to it, that has survived over maybe decades or centuries, because the earliest known trace of fabric in India, there was no power loom, obviously, in the old Indus Valley civilization. And even there, traces of fabric have been found. So India has been having a rich tradition of creating fabrics even at that time. And each variety of handloom in each region is specific to that region. It has a different weave, it has different fiber, it has a different cultural background to it. Again, when you see the looms, also these looms are of varieties. In Northeast, you will see different kind of looms, lion loom, or if you can share the presentation. Then if you can share the presentation.
We are sharing it.
Yeah. So there the next slide. Yeah. There are certain photographs after this. Next slide. Yeah, so if you see each of these successive 3-4 slides, you will see the looms are of different variety. You know, this jacquard loom is something that creates borders on saris in different patterns. So by adjusting the jacquards or fixing more number of sets on it, you can create different designs. Now, of course, it has gone to electronic level also, but otherwise this jacquard requires very special people to operate it, and it's a cumbersome process to be learned only on this jacquard. Next. Yeah, this is Awa sari. Awa sari is a sari of Rajasthan. Somewhere in North Rajasthan, there is a village in which these saris are made. And these saris have specific pattern of borders, which are made only on these looms. So each variety of sari has a specific loom. Next, Kanjivaram sari. This is something very interesting. This is a person who makes portraits on handloom. And all these portraits that you see in the background are made on this loom. In this, there is on the lower level, you can see one cloth hanging. This cloth is something on which he draws the design. And then he has warp and weft on the loom on which he makes the cloth. But while making that cloth on which these designs come, he also has small shuttles of different colors. So if you see on the left, there is a sari with a red border and a green sari. So these many colors he has used in that while making that portrait. And each small piece of that red thread has to move back and forth at that location where he needs that sari border. So that design is in his brain. And he has to think where to turn the thread, where to take it back, and it requires a lot of patience to learn these techniques. And these are made in a small town near Sholapur in Maharashtra state, where in this town there are few families who are practicing, and he is one of the enterprising person who has happened to come to Delhi and put up a stall here and show this unique craft to the world. So this again is a portrait loom, which is very unique for making these. So you can't make a Kanjivaram sari on this loom. Next. Yeah, this is Kanjivaram. Kanjivaram again is characterized by gold and silver zari borders, and even today in Tamil Nadu, in certain marriages or certain religious events, it is mandatory to wear Kanjivaram saris. So these saris, which take around 10 days to 1 month to 3 months, depending on the type of design, are woven in gold and silver threads with silk only. And they cost upwards of like 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, depending on the amount of silver and gold used in these saris, and they sell like hotcakes. So because tradition demands that these saris have to be worn, this craft has also survived like in many places because it is part of religious requirement and the cultural requirement there. So wearing these saris or having them in the trousseau is mandatory. And even though this is a very difficult sari to weave, but you will find hundreds or thousands or lakhs of people practicing this art because it is in huge demand there. Next. Yeah, this is one unique loom that is not seen at many places. This is called lion loom, which is worn at the waist. And mainly in Northeast, they make stoles on these, or what they call gamcha, on these looms. So these are very specific to Northeast part of India. So if you see the geographical spread of the varieties of saris and the type of looms, you will find that both the things are very unique to each place, and they have continued because the demand for these products is due to the cultural or religious or traditional need of these places. And I mean, it's not any marketing effort that has continued this tradition. It is purely because of the demand in these areas. Next. Chanderi. Chanderi again in Madhya Pradesh. This is very unique to that place. And on this loom only you can make these saris. So each of these looms has different settings, and it's sheer skill by which a person can identify the problems that happen while weaving a sari. For example, if I want to make a kullu shawl on this loom, I can't make, because the fine wires through which these threads pass are different for a shawl compared to a sari. And if I try to do that, the threads will break. Next. So this is one of the portraits that he has made. Next. Okay, this is Banarsi brocade. So the varieties that I was telling you, in Banaras also there are different varieties of saris, and the names itself are based on what the sari represents. Most of them have floral and animal motifs in these. So for example, Banarsi Jangla. Jangla is a jungle. So it will have the scenes as if it is a jungle with small animals or the flora fauna of a jungle. And the look of that sari will resemble a jungle. All that, all those motifs are woven in the silk thread with the help of silver. Now, of course, pure silver is less used there, but for occasions, I mean, events or marriages or anything, people do buy those saris, but otherwise people prefer the ordinary zari, or what we call Surat zari. So the rates are obviously lesser for those products. And in this also you will find two types of weaving. One is something similar to Jamdani, and other is in which there are floats when you see the back of the sari. So there will be floating silver threads there, and if they are cut, then obviously they are little uneasy to wear. So generally they leave the floats. But the Jamdani style of sari woven in Banaras is expensive because it requires a lot of patience and time to weave it in a Jamdani style, as the motifs have to be woven along with the beating of the weft, warp and weft. Next. This is Ama sari, the loom that we saw. This is made on that. So these squares that you see in between, the small squares, these are woven as part of the weaving and not done as separate embroidery. Yeah, next. This is Kanchivaram sari. So the intricacy of the weaving in the lines, if you see, this requires a lot of effort. Now with jacquard, it is little easier to weave these saris, but the electronic jacquard, it is easier to weave these saris, but otherwise it used to take months to weave these fine borders. Next, this is Manipuri stoles mainly they use, and these are made on the lion looms that I showed you earlier. Next, Chanderi. This Maheshwari and Chanderi, Maheshwari is generally plain, Chanderi has got some booties on it. Okay. Now, when we talk about Indian handloom, the history, of course, it is very old, but it is not just a fabric. It is art, it is our culture, it is tradition, it is fashion, it is economy, all woven into one. And this, of course, if you see the weaving in eastern part of India, it will be something localized, mainly the forests of that area inspire the motifs on the fabric. Or if you see in Orissa, there will be temple borders, because Orissa and the southeastern part of India is characterized by a lot of temples. So in the saris also you will see a lot of temple borders. Similarly, in south you will find temple borders. Or there's a place near Shimla, 4 hours from Shimla, there is a place called Ramnagar. There, there's only one family that practices weaving the traditional dress, because in that village it is prescribed by the deity to wear those dresses in the marriage. And those dresses need to have 5 elements in that, one resembling the temple, one resembling the swastika, one resembling infinity. So those 5 elements are mandatory, and it is being practiced by only one family. The grandmother set up the loom, and since then it has been now going on as per tradition, but it's not a commercial activity because it is need of the village only. So that family has 50-60 looms on which they make these dresses on order basis. So whosoever gets married needs that traditional dress to be worn, and so this tradition of weaving is continuing. So every region will have one story based on which this has evolved. For example, in West Bengal, there is a weave called Dania Khali. It is something dhan, what we call in Hindi. So it has the shape of the dhan on the border. Those lines are woven in the border. And this started in Swadeshi, as a Swadeshi movement during our freedom struggle. So otherwise people used to weave saris, but because of competition from UK, the power loom products, these people started making colored saris with these dhan borders. So they named it as Dhania Khali. And it is a languishing craft. Recently, we have tried to help those people revive that. So that again is a tradition. Goa, again, if you see these Kunbi weaves. Kunbi weave is a tradition that is followed in Gujarat, in Goa. Goa has a very small population of Hindus there, because after the Portuguese rule, the number of Hindu families reduced. But those people have a tradition that when they visit temples or when they have their religious events, they have to wear Kunbi weave saris. These saris are mandatorily in red border. Rest of the body can be at any color, but the border has to be red color. So recently the government has been trying to revive that weave, and the demand for those saris is now so high that government has fixed a minimum support price also for that sari that they would be buying, but still the production is so less. So we are helping now those people with supply of yarn and supply of dyes, because raw material in Goa is not readily available. It has to be given from some other places. So the government is also supporting them, and in protocols and all that, they gift these saris as a local variety of their handloom. And similarly, it is also a part of economy. So there are villages where you will find the entire village is dependent on handloom for its living. The land there is such that they can't do any other work like agriculture, because in India, if you see, agriculture is the mainstay for rural areas. So areas where there is no possibility of agriculture, the next option is handloom. And just to give you a broad idea of how much it supports the rural economy, there are 31 lakh weavers and ancillary staff as per the last census. So it is the second largest employer as far as the country is concerned after agriculture, in which 25 lakhs are commercial weavers, and rest do weavers and ancillary artisans, and rest are having looms for their religious use or personal use. Especially in Northeast, it is customary to gift a loom to a daughter in marriage, and on certain religious occasions they have to mandatorily make something on the loom. So if you leave that aside, still it is a big chunk that practices this commercially. And the concentrated areas of loom is from Northeast to eastern side of India, UP, Varanasi, and southern part of India. Western side, it is in very small pockets. Again, Panipat is a very big hub of Panipat and Kunnur for export focused products. It's a very big hub, and more exports are done to European countries from Panipat and from Kunnur in south. So these two are huge export hubs for the economy. And recently there is a revival of these crafts, and it is no longer a poor man's cloth. Handloom is now becoming a premium item, because cotton itself is a premium item, and handloom generally is made on natural fibers. Of course, little bit is also done in acrylic and other yarns. But for the fashion industry, silk, cotton, and wool also, pashmina wool, these are very premium fabrics. And a lot of designers are now working with the rural population. A lot of NGOs are involved in that. Government is supporting with different schemes of helping the handloom sector with providing machinery, sheds for looms, accessories for looms. We supply yarn to the weavers, yarns and dyes. And plus government also gives them marketing assistance. So the booklet, soft copy of the booklet that I sent to you, that is one marketing event that we organized here in Handloom Hart Janpat by the name Virasat, in which we collected all varieties of handloom saris from India, and we displayed it in a hall here in Handloom Hart Janpat. And we also called 75 weavers as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to sell those products here. And it was quite encouraging. Like saris also were a big hit here, because people got to know a lot of varieties of saris which normally are not known to people. So people could see what all varieties of saris, what all varieties we have in our Virasat, and they could also buy that. Plus we had also kept live loom demonstration for people to come and see what it takes to make a sari. So these looms that I showed you the photograph were displayed here in our exhibition. And we also had 5F, that is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, farm to foreign. So how a product goes from farm to fiber to fabric or factory and fashion and foreign. We demonstrated all 5 Fs there at the exhibition, right from cocoon to silk export products or cotton to cotton export products. So what cotton looks like when it is grown, how it is processed. Similarly, the cocoons, how the silkworms come out of it, how the cocoons are used to take out silk. And something that not many people know, that India has all 4 varieties of silk, which is mulberry silk, everyone knows, the one produced in Bangalore, and tussar silk also to some extent. But there are 2 other varieties of silk, eri and mugga, which are produced in Northeast. Not many people are aware that these 2 silks are also produced in India. So India is the only unique country which has all 4 varieties of silk. And we showcased all these varieties here. And mugga is a natural golden silk yarn. So you don't need zari if you use mugga. And this golden color is naturally golden due to the cocoons. Similarly, eri silk, which is called ahimsa silk, it is produced without killing the cocoons. So in India, for example, Jains don't wear silk because it is produced by killing cocoons. So they wear this eri silk because it produces silk without killing cocoons. And that is why it is called ahimsa silk. And plus in this exhibition, we also put a hobby loom, because these days there is a lot of interest in looms again. So we thought we can project a hobby loom which people can come and see, and later on someone is trying to make commercial production out of it. And if people want to do it as a hobby, just like gardening or any other activity, they can have a loom at home and practice it. Yeah, next. So now, of course, it's a little better scenario now, but the bad part is that the number of people who are working in this sector is reducing. In the previous census that we did, there were 43 lakh in the loom. This census, there were 31 lakh. So the number has reduced, but the good thing is that there is renewed interest in terms of quality, design, marketing, because when you are focusing at markets beyond the borders, these things come into play. So in India now, there is more focus on quality. In fact, our Ministry of Textiles also has launched a brand for yarn, which is standardized as per export standards, kasturi cotton that we call. So the 2 factors that exports want is that there should be traceability and it should conform to certain standards. So Cotton Corporation is going to buy the yarn, do the ginning, and the entire chain will be traceable. So if a person wants to know that a bedsheet made from kasturi cotton was produced with what cotton, the entire value chain will be traceable. They can know which farmer produced the cotton, and they can go and see that all standards are being followed. There are no violations of labor laws, or it is produced following all norms of humanity. And this is a very recent phenomena. Texprosil will be certifying Kasturi cotton. So that is something that is going to revive this sector. Second is design and marketing. There are individuals who are entering this market as entrepreneurs. And I think Ireland, with a lot of success stories in terms of entrepreneurs, can be a good exchange ground for these entrepreneurs to, because India in terms of success rate of entrepreneurs is not as good as Ireland. Ireland has the highest, in fact, better than EU when it comes to success rate of entrepreneurs. So a lot of entrepreneurs are entering, and in our scheme also they have been included now, where earlier there were individual weavers or cooperative societies or self-help groups. Now they have included weaver entrepreneurs also. And a lot of them are doing pretty good in terms of design and marketing of these products. And that is one big area that is that requires intervention, design and marketing, because handloom itself is a traditional art. So whatever has been going on since centuries, the next generation learns what has been taught to them. But with these weaver entrepreneurs now, new designs are coming in, and the demand for handloom products is increasing. In fact, in one of the villages in Nagde, that is near Nasik in Maharashtra, there's a person who makes Patni saris, and Patni saris are quite cumbersome to make. So it takes around 1 month, 20 days to 1 month to make one sari. So that person, he has brought his own land. He has constructed a building on which he trains Adivasi children or people who are challenged, physically challenged, or who don't have a good living in the surrounding areas, villages. He gives them place to stay in his own complex. He has made a building with rooms where the children stay. They learn working on these looms for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. It's all paid by him. And once they learn, they start working on the loom. He has a very corporate kind of working environment with timings laid down for reporting, timing for off, lunch break, tea break, and evening 5 o'clock, everyone closes their work. It's all managed by his family. And as of now, there are around 150, 200 children who are working with him. Whereas most of the places, the biggest problem for handloom sector is that they are not getting new people to work with. And here is a person who has completely reversed the trend. And most of the people working with him are youngsters below 30 years. And he's going on adding rooms to his place, looms to his place, and children from nearby villages are coming and staying there. And it's a pretty decent earning for the children also, who otherwise don't have jobs. And plus the difficult art of Patani is surviving, because the more difficult the art is, the less people want to practice it. So, for example, in Kanjivaram also, they have the same problem. People are going to Tirupur to work in powerloom sector, and most of the people working there are of above 40 types. And with the entrepreneurs coming in, they are encouraging new people to join this and create partnerships with them, with the workers. So a modern way of working is evolving, and we hope that this tradition therefore continues. Then there are contemporary designs also for modern generation, because the younger generation doesn't want to wear traditional saris that we wear. So there are ready-to-wear saris or different draping styles of saris that are coming into play. Or recently, one of the designers, Dr. Hemlata, we had a workshop also here with her in Virasat. She has revived a sari which Ane Haje means it's elephant head. So in Karnataka, elephants were in plenty, and this sari border used to have the shape of elephant head on in weaving, and the footprints of elephants. So that she has revived that technique, and she has created a sari which doesn't need a fall. So you can just pick up off the shelf and wear it. So it's comfortable for the new generation. They don't have the patience to go to the tailor, get a fall stitched on a sari. And this sari can be worn both sides. So she has put borders on both ends. So you can wear it any way, and less hassle in wearing it. And plus yarns and dyes also have evolved. Earlier, the dyes used to be dyed by the weavers themselves. Now there are manufacturers of yarns who supply dyed yarns. So the dyed yarns are uniform in color, they give a better product, and the color is fast, because locally dyed yarns sometimes had the problem of color bleeding, and if color bleeds, your entire effort of 1 month or 5 months goes waste. And the downside is that use of chemical dyes has increased. So there are some startups who have taken to recycling the products and using, like recently in one of the workshops, one of the organization, they use materials which they withdraw from the environment. They don't recycle it, they withdraw from the environment, and it doesn't go back to the environment. So they had plastic chips made from waste plastic from the environment, and they made cushion covers with these chips, and everything in that cushion cover is recyclable. And they have a policy that after a person uses this product, they can send it back to them. They will take it, they can buy another product, and they have an arrangement of buying back their products. So after 2 years, if the cushion cover you feel you need to change, you can buy another and give this back. So from this cushion cover, these plastic chips are used in either some shoes or some napkins or some other table mat, or somewhere they will use these plastic chips, but it will not go in the environment. And even the labels that they use are also recyclable. So zips, labels, anything that they use in that is all taken back, recycled again, and fresh products are made out of it. So, but this is like happening in very small bits and pieces. Someone in Dehradun is using Majishta leaves. Majishta is produced locally there. So they use that for coloring the cloths. Obviously, the limitation of colors is there when you use local colors or organic dyes. But the consciousness has begun. So that is a positive thing. And people are also buying those products, even though they come at a cost. But there are people who are willing to spend that money for the environment. Then there's a organization. The biggest problem in handloom is certification. So if someone says this is a handloom sari, most of the time you have to buy it on trust value. But it's very difficult to identify a handloom sari from a powerloom sari. So recently, one of the startups is working on a label. That label also they only produce. It is a barcoded label, and they have produced a small equipment which fixes on the loom. So on the loom, it will track the movement. It is AI-based system, and it is connected with their database. Once they configure it for a loom, it will track the rhythm of the loom, match it with a power loom or a hand loom, and confirm that it is a hand loom or a power loom. Second, the barcoded label has threads which are woven as weft in the cloth itself. So at the time of the weaving only, this label is woven. The threads attached to that label are woven as weft, extra weft in the cloth. And this barcode is stored in their system database. For 2 years, it remains there. The person can also attach photograph and other information related to that product in that system. So when a person buys this product and scans the label, he will see all the data that has been stored by the person who has made. And there is traceability. So if someone goes and gets it checked from some agency and finds that no, it is not silk, it is cotton, then he knows whom to catch hold of, because all the data about that loom comes, that on which loom it was made, who made it, and what was the material used, photographs. If the photograph don't match with the product, then you know you have got a wrong product. So they are working on this, and Panera has taken their machines for using in their products, which is a Tata group company. And some interventions of these kinds are happening by the startups. Plus, there is a lot of government support coming for handloom sector. There are institutes that have been set up. NIFT, of course, we all know. NID is there. Then Indian Institute of Handloom Technology is there, where they conduct diploma courses in handloom technology. Government gives a lot of support for production, for experimenting with the products. So there is assistance for product development. Then for marketing, these kind of events are held across the country. We hold almost 25 to 30 exhibitions every year for the weavers, and the complete support is given by government, including setting up of stores, publicity, or the media, and everything. The weaver just needs to bring his stuff, sell, take whatever he gets out of it, and whatever he earns is his profit. The government doesn't take back anything from him. So that is a very big support. Plus, in international exhibitions also, certain stalls are given for the weavers. So this year we got 2 exhibitions. One is starting in a day or two in France, and one happened in Australia. So where the weavers are sent on government expense, and if it is a B2B, then they showcase their products. If it is a B2C, then they sell their products. So that kind of support is given by government. And state governments also have handloom directorates who also conduct these exhibitions for the handloom sector, where the weavers get to sell their products. And as Mr. Akhiles just mentioned, one district, one product is a big step in that direction, not only for handloom, but for all the products. Plus, there is GI tagging of these products. So if you say patola sari, then it is GI tagged with Patan, because the original family that made these saris is based in Patan. So if you say patola, that means it is made in Patan. Of course, it can be made at other places by people taking their loom there or whatever, but it is GI tagged with Patan. So Patan becomes the original place for that. And similarly, near Ahmedabad, there is Ashavali sari. That again is a very lesser known sari, but it is as expensive as Patan patola sari. And only one family practices this. Their grandfather somehow revived this craft and did not let it die. And now that family has 10, 12 looms on which they make these saris. Those saris also take anywhere between 10 to 20 days, 1 month, depending on the type of weaving. It is called Ashavali weave. So there are many varieties of saris which have survived because of individual efforts, and GI tagging has helped to identify these saris. Negamam, for example, it's almost, people have stopped its production, but still it is being GI tagged with Negamam, a place near Coimbatore, where these saris were originally made. And the peculiarity of that is the dense weaving of that sari. So it is not a see-through kind of sari, even though it is a cotton by cotton sari. And it is a very thin border on which weaving is done with golden threads. So with that, I think I have covered most of it. Something about wool. So wool, again, most of us know that these pashminas are produced in Srinagar, but actually the wool is produced in Ladakh. And this wool also has a unique way in which it is produced. It is not that if you take the pashmina goats to say Rajasthan and rear them, that you would get pashmina. You would get it only if that goat goes to Changtang for 3 months, from June, July to September. There's a particular grass, alfalfa. If it eats that grass for 3 months in that altitude, Changtang is almost near the China border, Pangong Lake. And for 3 months, these people, the shepherds, take their goats to that area, and they'll stay there for 3 months. The goats eat that grass, come down, and in January, February, they take out the wool. And what we see as pashmina wool, the best wool from that goat is from the neck, this portion of the goat, which is the softest wool. And that is why the weight is very less. Rest of the wool is also pashmina, but it is little thicker. So pashmina, again, making yarn out of it is a difficult process, and therefore this yarn is made in small clusters in homes. But there are 1 or 2 yarn manufacturers who have devised ways to make yarns out of it. Again, there is a startup which is creating machines on this solar-based machines to make yarn out of such fibers which cannot be made into long threads easily. For example, these mulberry yarn cocoon, the yarn is a long thread and it keeps coming continuously. So it's easier to make it on automatic reeling machine. But if you see the tussar silk, it is made from broken cocoons. So it is not a continuous filament. Therefore, making yarn out of it is difficult. And in olden days, women used to reel it on their thighs. So now, of course, it is not considered very human. So they are using these machines. And this startup has made machines which run on solar energy, and very small portable machines. So in rural areas, a lot of people are using these machines to produce yarn out of these small fiber cocoons, tussar or eri, or now we have asked them to try pashmina wool, whether yarn can be made on that. So so a lot of revival is happening, and we see a very vibrant handloom sector coming ahead. And can you take to the next slide? Yeah, so this is the magenta dyed shirt, and this is the yarn. This is being made by someone in Dehradun, a weaver entrepreneur. Next. This is again a very interesting thing. This is made out of wrappers of chips and kurkure, lays, and all those things. So those wrappers have a silver coating on the inside, and the silvery thing that you see in the yellow bag is threads made out of those wrappers. And with those threads on the loom, they make this cloth. The other side is the printed handloom cloth. So these are reversible bags. If you're going to a party, you carry this side of the bag. If you're going to office, reverse it and use the handloom cloth side of the bag. This again is made by a weaver entrepreneur from Dehradun, the one who is using that magenta shirt. They are making denim also on handloom, and they are going more into recyclable and sustainable production. So recently in our Virasat exhibition, they had showcased all these products, and they have been getting a very good response from the public also. So that gives us hope for revival. Next. Yeah, and then we look forward to strengthening the partnership. And since Ireland has a good entrepreneurship success stories, I think we can have a series of interaction with entrepreneurs from both sides to help people gain more insights into how they can build success stories, taking inspiration from there. And these people can share the rich traditions that they have and how to move forward on that. So thank you.
Rita, thank you so much for your presentation. It was so informative and very inspiring. I myself learned so much. And one question I have, like as you mentioned, in India, there are some traditional clusters, hubs, which have evolved, either like in UP or in Northeast or in southern part, Tamil Nadu particularly. For a country like India, why is it that there is some clustering?
Actually, these
not the whole of, not every province has a similar tradition. Why do you explain this?
Yeah, so what I found was that these have survived like mushrooms. For centuries, certain craft has been practiced because it was in demand there. For example, when I went to Chamarajnagar near Bangalore, it is 4 hours away from Bangalore, a small village. But there were around 100 families, and everyone had only handlooms, nothing else, no agriculture, no poultry farming, no fishing, nothing. So these people were producing saris, and when I went to see their stock, there were barely 100 or 200 saris in their stock. So I asked them, do you have a market for saris? He said, yeah, we produce based on orders. So they are able to get so much of order because they're on each occasion wearing a saris. For example, in their marriage itself, during the process of marriage, in one day they have to take 3 or 4 saris. So if there is so much demand of saris, which is not the case in North. So here when the weavers come selling saris, if it is office wear kind of saris, yes. So because of that, when these traditions are in demand, it is because of the local demand that these crafts have survived. For 400 years, when there was Mughal rule or British rule, there was no support coming to handloom. In fact, handloom was being systematically killed.
That's right.
Yeah, so these people have survived because of the local economy there, the local demand and supply game there. Some of the crafts that didn't find support went into disuse or are languishing and being practiced by 5 or 10 families, and many people are not aware. For example, this portrait loom that I showed. Now, there was no demand for portrait loom, so it went into disuse. This was a chance meeting with the person that we started bringing him in exhibitions, and he started getting orders and he started selling, because he said, if I have money, I can teach more people.
Yes.
So this was one way of supporting him, so to encourage other people. Like that, because of that, the local varieties have become like a cluster. It is not a intervention by any state or organization or anything. Northeast, for example, they have the tradition of wearing mekhla chadar.
Yes.
Now, mekhla chadar is only in Northeast. Even if you bring it to Maharashtra or MP, where are people going to wear it? So that is why that cluster is in Northeast.
Yeah. And Ritaji, also, we are very happy to see new products coming up and also young entrepreneurs joining this area. So I think beyond the traditional conventional uses like sari, our handlooms can have many new products developed.
Yes.
Like I see many European other women, they are buying sari, but they are not wearing it as sari. They are developing new products.
Yes.
So I think this is one niche area. If we focus, then we get a lot of opportunity for export.
In fact, recently we have developed a sari in which we have tried to make it in the form of a dress. So normally the saris have long pallu, which is woven. So we said shift the pallu in the center so that it becomes like a dupatta. Increase the length of the sari.
Yes.
And make the sari lighter, so that if someone doesn't want to wear it as a sari after 2 washes,
yes,
they can cut and make dress out of it.
Yeah. So this is one area I think we can explore further, like connecting fashion and development of new products.
New products, yes.
Yes. And also, like you mentioned, tech training institutions.
Yes.
So I believe in India, we have only diploma level courses for handloom training technology, isn't it?
Yeah, diploma handloom technology, and then NIFT is there for fashion technology.
Oh, so I think again we can explore interesting opportunities for a serious research, higher and tertiary level research, university or masters or that is again niche area to give a new vision to technological development and innovation in handloom sector.
Yes.
And I'm very happy about your initiative for having exhibition in France and Australia. So like if you have some resource person in France, then connect me, we can let me have a brainstorming with him or her.
Okay.
Because from their perspective, we can get new insights into how to crack the Irish market.
Okay. But in EU in general, the exports are from Panipat and Kunnur. So from tomorrow, we are having one exhibition here in Handloom Art Janpat, where we are calling weavers from Panipat and Meerut. They make home decor products. And these home decor products are very high in demand in
absolutely.
European countries, especially these daris or jute mats, jute products, then thick cotton products, and then there is a huge market for recycled denim products. Like they cut the denim into strips, make bags out of it, or they make table mats out of it. With the labels, they make table mats or bags, and they recycle these and send to European markets.
Even higher end interior decoration products.
Yes.
Like in Ireland, I met some artists who are very innovative, creative, using textiles and fabric for pieces we can showcase in our drawing room or other
Yes.
walls. So I think there is a lot of interesting ideas given the richness that we have.
Yes, yes.
We can come up with very fascinating new products and targeting niche high-end markets in Europe and OECD countries.
Yes. Yes.
So you guide us, and we are always with you.
Okay.
We look forward to keeping in touch and developing new ideas.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
spending so
Thanks.
much time. My best wishes to you and your team. We are very proud of your work, and also like we are naturally very grateful to the hard work that our artists